Thank you very much. Thank you, the moderators, for welcoming me to this great day of our community, the Nuer in South Sudan. I'm honored, I'm humble and honored today to be among you, to give my few words in the commemoration of our darkest day in history of South Sudan. So let me first greet all of you, our people, in the name of our good God and of our beloved country, South Sudan, and especially our dear countrymen, women and children who are in the UN protection of civilians, POCs, in different places in the country, and those who are refugees in different countries around us, be that in Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Central Africa, Sudan, Egypt, and those who are in diaspora. I greet you all, and I would like to say that today is an important day for us South Sudanese to remember. Today marks one of the darkest days in our modern history. A day when innocent children, women, the elderly, and men hailing from one ethnic community, the Nuer, were massacred in cold blood in Juba. A massacre committed by South Sudanese on their fellow citizens because of narrow, selfish ethnic chauvinism and parochial interest. Brothers and sisters, our great community of Nuer, these and other barbaric acts inflicted on innocent citizens in different parts of our country, be that in Upper Nile, Barghazal, or in Equatoria, but the de facto regime has left festering wounds and scars that will take more years to heal. I want to assure you that no doubt, families, our families, and especially of Nuer community, are still bearing pain and enduring trauma to heal. No doubt that these families, while enduring all this suffering that committed by this regime, are looking for all of us who are alive today for justice. They're looking for us for justice, dear brothers and sisters. It is only justice that will heal their pain. That will help them to reconcile. And it is our duty. We commemorate this day in remembrance of hundreds of innocent citizens slaughtered and killed on the 15th December 2013, and repeated in the years after, not only on that year, in a shameless pursuit of ethnic rule and ideology translated into policies and strategies by the failed coup regime. At this moment, dear brothers and sisters, our community of Nuer, we stand in solidarity with you, with all families of the victims. And we remember those innocent souls prematurely taken away from their families And us South Sudanese, we applaud your resilience of these families, the Nuer and all South Sudanese who have been subjected to widespread suffering, torture, and killings by the heartless agents of Juba regime, especially its security machinery and ethnic militia and military. On this painful commemoration, dear brothers and sisters, South Sudanese, and especially our community of Nuer, I would like to assure our people and all of you that the time will come when all the perpetrators of this massacre or other crimes committed in our country shall be accountable for their actions through legal instruments that shall be instituted to ensure justice for all. We South Sudanese must collectively and in unity, we must assure that the culprits do not escape justice, nor will such atrocities be committed again. And we should not allow that as South Sudanese, so that you have a bright future, peaceful one. Dear compatriots, our community, it is still heartbreaking that we remember the lives of beloved family members and citizens lost in such horrific ways. Together, let us assure this generation and those to come that we will never again allow such heinous violations to be committed again after the country is saved from this failed barbaric regime in our country. We, the National Salvation Front brothers and sisters, and our allies, the like-minded group who are struggling with us. And I was very happy to hear our elder, General Simon Gerwich, addressing us here today. I'm so excited. General Gerwich, the leader of Kitgong Group, I'm happy to hear your voice, that despite your age and the conditions you are in, you did not let the people of South Sudan down, nor the Nuer community, and all of us. You continue to endeavor and to sustain the struggle and those who are under you. And I want to say today to our community, that community of Nuer, that, and all of us as South Sudanese, we need to be proud with General Simon Gerwich, our elder. He's there in pain because of all of us. He refused to surrender, like the rest of you, the rest of us. He refused to surrender so that South Sudanese live as slaves in their own country. We are together in this struggle, and we'll never betray our people to the end of our lives. Congratulations, Simon Gerwich, and my revolutionary greetings to those under you. And I would like to tell our community of Nuer and South Sudanese here that we are together always with our brother and elder General Simon Gerwich. And the rest of our colleagues, the generals and leaders who are leading our people in different parts of our country. in their own organizations, be that military or civil or political. As I said, it is still heartbreaking that we remember the lives of beloved family members, those who lost everything. And if you remember, and even up to now, those who are in the UN camps inside the country, they have lost humanity. They are living like animals without dignity. These people are waiting for us. These suffering people who become like slaves, they're waiting for us, for the rest of our people to liberate them. Those who are in the refugee camps outside the country are also waiting for us. Dear brothers and sisters, this struggle is not for individuals. This struggle is not for few groups or even for the tribes. It is for all of us South Sudanese. We need to come all together. If you come together today, the oppressive regime in Juba will be gone. And we will be dancing like those people in Damascus, in Syria. We'll be dancing like them when we come together united. Because the power of the people will never be defeated. The power of the people will never be defeated. The people who committed these crimes, as I said, they will be brought to book. So we in the National Salvation Front, with all our allies, the like-minded group, like the SPLM IO Kilgom group under our great hero, Simon Garwich, we are working very hard together in order to unite our efforts so that in the shortest possible time, we liberate our people. Despite the dark history we are remembering today, there is hope for a peaceful, prosperous, and just South Sudan that our ancestors fought for during the different phases of the history of our liberation struggles. Nobody can claim, with an individual group, tribe, that they are the only people who liberated South Sudan. Our people started to give their lives and everything long time ago. And all of us paid price for us to be free and to have a country called South Sudan. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters, neither sweat nor blood that has been shed shall go in vain. We must also profess that we are ready to pay any price in fulfillment of our long-sought aspirations. Dear brothers and sisters, fellow South Sudanese, let me take this opportunity to shed light on the processes of peace in our country, and especially what is called Tumawini, a process in Nairobi. And it's important for you to know that when this process is started, we in the opposition of Soma, we were not consulted because Juba regime delegation left us in Rome and they went to Juba for consultation when we were discussing declaration of principles before we start discussing and negotiating issues pertaining to the war in our country. But suddenly, we are surprised by Salva Kiir abandoning Rome process and moving the negotiation to Kenya and ask President Ruto to mediate. We did not refuse. We accepted. Despite that, we were not consulted. We accepted for the sake of peace, so that we bring peace in the shortest possible time to our people. But when we started to discuss with the mediators, and especially the Kenyan mediators, under the leadership of General Sumbeo, or like 2 times, the last one was in the late August this year, when we met in Rome, including a delegation sent from Juba under previous leadership of Juba, a team to the negotiations. We met. But when we were first consulted, we talked to General Sombeo because we want to know the nature and the agenda of the talks. I told General Sombeo that we in the National Salvation Front, the like-minded groups in Soma, we want the reasons of the war. We want the root causes, what we call the root causes of the conflict in our country, to be discussed by all of us. South Sudan is not for one organization. South Sudan is not for one community. And this is why we are demanding that we as South Sudanese, be that opposition groups like us or outside the country, the civil society, the women groups and youth, the academia, the political parties inside the country, the government itself, we demanded that we need to sit in a neutral venue so that what we call a roundtable conference, so that we discuss our problems. Why we South Sudanese are killing ourselves. Why we South Sudanese are oppressing ourselves. Why we South Sudanese are dividing ourselves on the basis of tribe, clan, you name them. Why we South Sudanese are looting our resources and using it against each other. Why we are enslaving ourselves. Remember that we fought for this country, all of us, until we liberated the country. So we want the reasons of this war to be discussed. This is what I was telling Sombeo. And I want to went further that if Juba regime is sensitive of the word roundtable, doesn't matter. What we want all of us as South Sudanese to come together in whatever shape of the table. The important thing is the content, that all of us as South Sudanese were there without anybody being left in an inclusive process, so that we agree on the resolutions of the conflict in our countries and we go home. We go home and we study to reconcile, heal the society, and start to rebuild our beautiful country, South Sudan. To my surprise, the mediation of Kenya General Sombeo told me that General Thomas, this process is not about discussing the root causes of the problem. We are going to find out better modalities. I quote, we are going to find better modalities to implement our access agreement, the failed our access agreement. So we want you people to come so that we find better ways for the implementation of the access agreement. I told General Sombeo and other delegations and the diplomats that communicated with us, we told them that if the agenda is about finding better modalities to implement our access agreement, the best people for you to talk to them is the people who signed the agreement. They know why they failed to implement that agreement. Because the rest of us, we are not party to this agreement. We did not sign this agreement. And therefore, we cannot go and discuss others or other people agreement. So I told him, General Sombeo, it's better for you to talk to these groups, including the government, whether you go to Juba, discuss with them, or you call them to Kenya and to any place, and find better modalities that can implement their agreement. But for us, we believe that the access agreement has failed completely. You know that up to now, it's only 10% of this agreement that was implemented. In 6 years, dear brothers and sisters, now you are in the 7th year. So we told them, if this is the case, we are not joining this process because it is not going to discuss the pain of our people, like what we are commemorating today. It is not going to discuss why we are killing ourselves, why we massacred ourselves. It is about a process that is going to manipulate our people, that is going to manipulate the opposition, lure them to Juba, dismantle them, like what is happening to our brothers and sisters who signed the access agreement and now they're in Juba. Even the Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, is not free. He's in that big prison in Juba. And we are demanding that if he is really a vice president of South Sudan, he should be allowed even to cross the bridge of Juba. He should be allowed even to go for treatment. He should be allowed even to go all over South Sudan to talk about peace that they sign. But he is not allowed to do that. He's a prisoner. Brothers and sisters, at this time, we should not lie to ourselves. There is no peace in the South Sudan. The agreement has failed. It is just only be kept so that there is no more wars. And this is what some internationals and others in the region are trying to keep South Sudan like that. So this is the reason why we refuse to go to Kenya, dear brothers and sisters. This process is a failed process because it is not discussing the root causes of the problem in our country. It's not discussing our sufferings. It's not discussing all these problems all of us are talking about. They want to give people positions, like what happened to those who are already inside, lure them, and after time, they dismantle them. And the status quo, the oppressive regime, the tribal oppressive regime of Salva Kiir will continue in South Sudan, oppressing our people. So this is the reason why, dear brothers and sisters, we refused to join this Tumaini process in Kenya, and we will continue to struggle. We'll never surrender. And I urge all of you, our community today, who suffered during this time of Nuer, and the rest of South Sudanese, that we should not surrender whatever the case may be. People's power will never be defeated. We may be weak today, but the people will be victorious at the end of the day. So let us be firm. Let us unite. Let us come together and focus on the real challenge, the real enemy of our people, which is the system in Juba. So, dear brothers and sisters, this is what I would like really to explain to you so that you know this process in Nairobi. Even what is being said that this is the last chance, for South Sudanese to have peace. This is not the last chance. It is not appropriate for us to say this is the last chance. Because how can we call it last chance when we are still in the UN camps, living like slaves, when more than half of our population are outside the country? There are those who are in the rivers, in the streams, hiding in the bushes. How can we call it a last chance? How can we call it a last chance when Salva Kiir is still there in killing our people, looting our resources, destroying everything in our country, and especially the fabric of our society? How can we call it a last chance? While you are outside the country, many of you are outside the country. We are dying every day. We don't have medicine. There is no infrastructure. There is no clean water. We are still drinking water from rivers, from streams like animals. How can we call it a last chance for peace? It is only when the root causes of the problem are resolved, dear brothers and sisters, then we can say you have peace. Other than this, we are deceiving ourselves, and the struggle must continue. So the recent events, I hope that the recent events in Syria should serve as a reminder to the regime that no dictatorship will survive forever, whatever its power of guns and money. The moment of jubilation, brothers and sisters, in a bright new day is coming. And I want to assure you that South Sudan will rise again. Finally, I salute all our martyrs throughout our history and every one of you on behalf of the People's Movement, the National Salvation Front. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and a peaceful New Year. God bless you, and God bless South Sudan. I thank you very much. Thank you.